Thank you for joining me. Yeah, sure, you can wave. You can wave.
Hello, Mom.
Fun story for us. Like, how did these gentlemen make their way into this cast?
Oh, I know exactly how everyone made their way.
Tell us!
Exactly.
Tell us.
Like frame by frame. I loved in 1 second of the audition. I was like, oh my God, that's...
911, 911! But then why did you watch my audition 40 times?
It's the rest of the seconds.
I wanted to be sure.
Oh my God!
Came and they're like, hey, Vidyuth speaks Tamil. I was like, what? Asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said no because I thought it had a lot to do with the political part of the assassination, and I wasn't going to delve into that.
By the time this interview reaches you, I'd like to hope you would have already watched the show. If you haven't already, then I would say, ये interview मत देखिए, आप वो show देखिए पहले, फिर आइए इस interview पर, because I watched the show and I would like to have a conversation based on what I've already seen. And this disclaimer given, I want to say The Hunt streams on Sony LIV. It's a fabulous show actually, and when I walked into the show, I had no idea कि मुझे इतनी तमिल सुननी पड़ेगी और मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया. As a Tamilian myself, it just felt like I was at home. So let me introduce you to the people who are in the show, and that is of course all of you. Too many names, I'm sorry. It'll show us as Aston Vans. So we'll yeah. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, sure. You can wave. You can wave.
Hello, Mom.
All right, Nagesh, I'm going to start with you. I remember you showed us a new way of like the movies when we were growing up. All right. I want to ask you how much of that filmmaker still stays with you today? Because for me, when I was watching the show, there's also a little bit of that, hey man, it's Nagesh Kukunoor show. How much of that is still with you?
I'd like to think that that soul is still intact, which is the independent filmmaker. Yes. Because even the way I run my sets, it's not elitist. It's still, you know, the way I was back when I had a fraction of the budget to do stuff. Obviously, with time, we all change. We add on new things. But when it comes to me being on a set, even now, 27 years later, I don't sit in the makeup van, not for even a second. Sure, to use the toilet, but I'm not sitting there and taking meetings. My food is also eaten outside. I don't ever leave the confines of the set. So, yeah, I still like to think that that filmmaker's intact.
That's filmmakers intact. Can I say, you're going to read headlines that say, Nagesh Kukunoor is back. How are you going to react to that?
I'd like to think I never went anywhere, but...
That's always how it is, yeah.
But, yeah, but hey, I'll take it. Anything that helps the show.
Sure.
For me, you know, staying in the public eye without something to talk about has always been irrelevant. You know, to do individual articles on me and, you know, the man, you know, what do you do, what do you eat? This has never excited me as long as I have a show or a movie to talk about.
Sure.
Come here. That's when I get most excited. So if that propels the hunt, by all means.
Amazing. So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions before I open it up to the pack, as I call them, because they truly are. My first question is, of course, why did you think that this story needs your voice? Or did you always want to tell this story? Or is it a case of, oh, great story, great production house, Sony LIV, sure, I'm on?
You know, like many scripts or script ideas, they come at you from different directions. This so happened that Aniruddha Mitra pitched it to Applause. And Samir Nair, who heads Applause, he asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said no, because I thought it had a lot to do with the political part of the assassination. And I wasn't going to delve into that. And he said it's a straight up procedural, a crime thriller, nothing to do with politics. Once I knew that was the space of the show, then I had a clear sense of how to go about it. So, and my excitement is always to do projects that I've not done before. I'd never adapted a book and never done anything on a true life incident. 2 challenges, and I was on.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now let's bring the pack in, because I really want to know what a fun ensemble of actors, all right? And let me tell you, each of them are gems, okay? I have known each of their work individually, but the sum is greater than its parts. Do you have a fun story for us? Like how did these gentlemen make their way into this cast?
Oh, I know exactly how everyone made their way.
Tell us!
Exactly.
Tell us.
Like frame by frame. Actors don't happen by accident. Everyone, and the kind of effort I take while casting an actor is not something I take lightly. You know, this had something like 130 speaking parts. When an actor auditions for me, I will do him or her I will give them the dignity of watching their audition. So I watch auditions of all parts of all actors. So Casting Bay, the one that did this show, so for each role, they send you sometimes 10, 15, 20 people. I watch all auditions. There are auditions where the first 30, 40 seconds into it, you know it's not going well, but you sit and grin and bear it. Maybe you go at double speed a little bit, but I'll watch all auditions. So I take that much effort in casting. Sorry for that long preamble. I'll run down the, pack.
The pack,
The
yeah,
pack.
of course.
He'd auditioned 2, 3 times, and he almost got cast in a show that I was doing. Might have been cast. The show never happened. So I knew this guy could act. And the bonus came and they're like, hey, Vidyuth speaks Tamil. I was like, what? So he did the scene in Tamil. Fantastic. Boom. He's done. This guy, he'd already worked with me on 2 seasons of COD. I knew exactly what he could do. And working with him, I knew he's got the hunger to constantly do something different. Visually, he fit Radha Vinod Raju, the character that he plays. So I instantly said, just put him on tape, even though I'd mentally so you did an audition and sent, right? Yeah. Even though I knew that he could do it, I was like, let's just put him on tape for the record. So that's how Girish got on board. These two gentlemen came via Casting Bay. I loved in 1 second of the audition. I was like, oh my God, that's that.
911. But then why did you watch my audition 40 times?
It's the rest of the seconds.
I wanted to be sure.
Oh my God! 40 times you watched it.
Nah. He's just making it up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Bucks comes so highly recommended. Casting Bay was like, for each one, they're like, we'll send you this. He says, I got your Raghotaman. Trust me, I got your Raghotaman. And they were like, Bagavathi Perumal. That's it. This is the guy. And he's a dead ringer for Raghotaman the way we wanted.
Yeah.
So I went back and watched all the stuff that he did.
Yeah, and he's fab.
He's fabulous.
You've seen him in Super Deluxe. You saw him recently in Monica, Oh My Darling.
And my office bucks were like, sir, please, you have to cast him. Ranjit's my associate director. He was like, you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because of Super Deluxe, primarily. The gentleman who heads the team, last guy to be cast in virtually the entire show. We're talking to other people, things were not working out. I was like, this one's good, that one's not, but da 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 da. And finally, Sameer Nair says, have you thought about Amit Sial? How far away from the shoot were we, Amit?
Not very far.
Like really close,
really
right?
Close, yeah.
Like panic close.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And we didn't have Karthikeyan. Oh my God. That's
And
crazy.
Karthikeyan wasn't cast.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
Now you can imagine the dearth of good actors.
who
Love it,
look
love
like
it.
Karthikeyan.
Yeah, yeah.
Dearth of good actors who look like
Look like
Karthikeyan.
him,
That's
yeah.
the most important thing. And when
But nobody knew what they looked like. So why was it important to you?
Nahin. You have to land in the same
Really?
space. You have to. And all of them, when you put the real person's picture,
yeah.
they land very, very close.
You're
You can,
so lucky, guys.
yeah, you can.
No, not
you
just
can,
us. Not just us.
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah.
So he gets cast at the the nth hour, and I can't tell you how you talk about lucky accidents, right? How fortunate I was to get an actor of this caliber to fill those shoes, because he was nothing short of phenomenal.
Yes, yeah.
He is.
He is.
You've seen the show.
Of course,
Isn't it?
yeah.
I mean, to walk that line, he does so little.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where the game's at.
Truly,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Shh.
So
You obviously saved the. We've saved the
I'm
best
coming.
for the last. Hang on, because we know this is going to be a fun story.
this is the funnest.
Yeah.
Yes, Sahil!
So Amit Verma, the real Amit Verma, if you look at it, and there's only like one existing picture of him. So he's this kind of pudgy man. The last thing you would look at as an investigator, a short, squat man. So obviously we start, looking for people. The problem with Amit Verma, even script-wise, he is the voice of both sides,
Correct.
because he speaks Hindi and he speaks Tamil.
Absolutely.
And I knew for a fact that I didn't want to cast an actor who would assure me, sir, don't worry, by the time we start shooting, I'll learn Tamil and I'll show up on set. If you have not spoken Tamil,
उसके लिए time नहीं है. बिल्कुल.
उसके लिए टाइम नहीं है.
बिल्कुल.
आप 6 महीने जाके चेन्नई में रहो and get Tamil tutoring, it's another thing.
सर मेरे को 3 पेजर क्यों भेजेगा?
Like you said, थोड़ा confidence बढ़ गया था. Shoot करते करते, अरे ये कर लेगा. Yeah, that was the
पसीने
problem.
छूट गए. कैसे करूँगा यार?
And casting base sends me his audition, and of course I'm like, are you sure he speaks Tamil? So then he redoes the scene in Tamil. Cut a long story short, what are the chances that at that time he had put on a lot of weight for a role that he did? So he looked Amit Verma, he spoke Hindi, and he grew up in Salem. And Salem is where I went to my boarding school. Aircard is where I went.
This is it.
So I was like, oh, this guy is. So all the scenes that he does with the LTT across the table, I have no fear. And then he had a Tamil tutor here.
Yeah, ये जोड़ी थी.
Yeah, who was constantly fine-tuning and correcting
Him
his
and Raja.
language. Him and Raja.
Yeah.
Yo, Raja was
Raja.
Yeah,
That
no,
was the hero.
compliments to you because your accent is better than mine.
What?
I think you've
It
done
is.
it better because as a Matunga Bombay Tamilian, I'm terrible. But it's amazing. How did you manage? Did you have to learn the language because you were convincing?
No, I tried to learn it. It was
नहीं हो पाया.
impossible. It was
But
impossible.
it landed.
And because I think
Clever
I don't-
editing.
Huh?
Clever editing.
I'm not gonna go into it. But no, it would have been stupid of me to even try. You know what I'm saying? So because I tried to memorize one chunk, I would forget the other one,
Yeah.
and then I would try and memorize the other one and forget the earlier one. So hard. We just somehow managed. I'm not gonna even tell how I managed because it's
Because it
it's
was tough.
shameful.
No, but I'll tell you what, when as somebody's watching the show and I've seen Sahil do other work, I'll tell you when it's a giveaway is when you get the emphasis right on the words. So only if you speak Tamil, originally, then you know which words need to be, given the emphasis on, because anybody else comes in, you may not know. So then that's when I went into a, little bit of a rabbit hole. Then I said, I have to know where this guy has lived, has, done work outside of this. That's how I know the Salem connection. But you've got a cast of absolutely fab actors. I'm going to open it out to them. Sir, I'm going to ask you, was it exciting for you to play this sort of part, because you're the only person who turns around and says something which is in the middle of it. Like, you don't commit to the politics of this. And I found that character extremely amazing. So how was that for you, and did it color any of your performance because you were carrying this knowledge?
Like Amit's by told in the beginning, right? Being neutral is very tough actually. And I happened to watch all his real life Raghuttaman's interview well before the project came to me.
Yes.
So I have very very nice idea about his personality, his way of handling things, right? And in the book 90 Days too, there were very clear demarcation between his professional life and personal life. So that helped me a lot. And being neutral is, in a way, portraying a neutrality is actually easy.
Yes.
You don't commit either side.
Yes.
But in real life, it's very tough. Yeah.
Yes, it's really tough. But I really love that one scene where you actually have to commit, and then you say, I actually don't believe in it, but I'm just doing my job. So it was pretty amazing. Please talk to us about your experience. Did you तुम खुल के अब तमिल बोलने लगे, तो तुम्हें कितना मजा आया, मुझे बताओ साहिल?
मुझे शुरू में बहुत मज़ा आया जब मैंने तमिल बोलनी शुरू की. फिर एक सीन आया जब मुझे बोला गया कि आज तो दिल्ली वाला है.
Oh, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
And I was like relief after relief. I was like, this is amazing. And I was the guy who was always, it's been 17 years now in Mumbai, I've always wanted to act in Tamil. That's the first language I spoke when I was born there, I was brought up there, and it couldn't happen. And I'm so glad that it started with this show and with this director and with this bunch of people, because the kind of exoskeleton all of them created around me, I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity to start acting in Tamil. So it was a lot of fun. Like I said,
साउथ से बहुत ऑफर आने वाले हैं सर, आप तैयार हो जाइए. है ना?
hopefully.
आजकल हवाएं वही चल रही है. Yeah.
मैं साहिल को ये मतलब फ्रॉम द वेरी स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट मैं साहिल को ये बोलता रहता हूँ दैट आई एम रियली हैप्पी फॉर यू बिकॉज सिंस ना ही इज सेइंग दैट मैं हमेशा से करना चाहता था. एंड मेरे को इस प्रोजेक्ट में आगे पता चला है दैट ही स्पीक्स तमिल, जबकि we are from the same college.
We're from the
Oh
same
my
college. He's my
God.
junior.
Since 2005.
He's my junior from my college.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and he plays. He's my junior from my college, and he plays my senior in the show.
Wow, that's amazing.
I didn't know.
How did you handle that, sir? The ego of it.
Like he handled it all his life.
Danish, I would love to talk to you. It's very important that when you have an ensemble और बहुत सारे actors हो, यार अपने आप को नहीं खोना है, okay? And at the same time वही करना है जितना आपका किरदार आपको allow करता है. So as an actor, when you're working with more than one person, how do you find the right sort of, मतलब कितना करना है जिसे कहते हैं ना, तो वो आपने कैसे असेस किया? आपने बाकियों के साथ मिलकर ये डिसाइड करते हो कि सीन्स में वर्कशॉप्स होते हैं? How do you find that?
See, if you are in the hand of good director of Nagesh, like Nagesh caliber, then you should stop worrying about all those things, because no one would like to spoil the show just by focusing on which is not important. If you are important in the scene, if your gesture is important, he is going to keep it, and that's not my job as an actor to focus on. My job as an actor is to do that gesture truthfully. So that's my process. मैं उसी पे ज़्यादा फोकस करता हूँ कि जो मुझे करना है मैं उसे ईमानदारी से कर दूँ, and then left it to the editor and director.
Editor. Suddenly the editors become really important.
I mean, you see, actors have this illusion that they are the only thing. I mean, they are most important thing in this whole scene.
So it's
We
not
are
an
just
illusion.
one small
The whole
thing.
industry works this way now.
But
sadly.
I'm not in any kind of illusion. You see, पूरी टीम बनाती है ये शो को, और इस शो को वो स्पॉट बॉय भी बनाता है जितना कि हम एक्टर या डायरेक्टर या लिखने वाला कर रहा है. Everyone is important. और सब तराशते हैं इसको, एक मूर्ति को जैसे नक्काश किया जाता है. So then your performance comes out. So just focus on yourself and your what you are supposed to do. Focus on that. इतनी चीज़ों का ध्यान रखेंगे तो एक्टिंग कहाँ कर पाएंगे फिर तो हो ही
बिल्कुल
चुका, फिर
बिल्कुल
तो
yeah
फिर
thank you
परफॉर्मेंस होने लग
Thank
जाती है.
no absolutely thank you for that. You know, I don't know about you Vidyuth, but for me what was the most interesting thing about the show was there was so much I didn't know, and I feel like it's going to serve as a primer for an entire generation who probably had read this मतलब सिर्फ सुर्खियों में पढ़ा होगा, and then oh yeah we know that he got assassinated, but the intricacies of it, was it fascinating for you to also know your own history that way?
Absolutely, because when this happened, I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
So the only reference I had was my mother telling me or my father telling me how it was, what the environment was
And
like.
all our mothers, they were crazy about Rajiv Gandhi.
Yeah, because he was handsome and there was it was the shock of it, and also it's an attack on the country, you know, it brought down to the knees and things like that. So I honestly knew about the fact that he got assassinated and how. And that was the first time I was exposed to the idea of a suicide bomber. I was like, what the hell? What is that? I couldn't understand that concept as a kid. And even now, I don't really fathom it. But through this show, and because none of us, I'd never got the whole script. I just got my track. So I would just read on that and work on that. But on set, we would constantly discuss the case. And I was constantly mind blown. Yeah. Constantly. Even when we were shooting a scene, I would look at someone and say, this really happened, or what? Are you kidding me? I was like, yes, this happened. Nagesh would come and say, yes, can you believe it? It's crazy, isn't it? Mind blowing. I was like, yeah, it is. I was constantly fascinated. All of us were. Me and the other actors, at least the young ones, we were just finding out everything as and when we were
for
shooting.
the first time.
Whenever the scene comes, we're like, wait, come on. This can't be the case. You know, and then there would be a scene where there would be some lines where like, oh, something happened outside. So later on, I would go and say, what were you talking about? I don't even know what the hell we were talking about. And then someone would inform me that, oh, this person was outside. Everyone's hunting for him, but he's outside, this, that.
It was crazy. I also think the idea of a female suicide bomber at that time was so radical because it was the first. And I remember that, like, there was a film that was, you know, later, they'll say that Manisar made, you know, which had Manisha Koirala play that part. But it was just crazy. It was crazy to imagine that there would be, in a weird, like, feminist sort of way, you know, women are put to this job. And it was just crazy. What is it about the entire case that leaves you in shock and awe? Like, each of you. Like, we're going to try and ask you, what is it about? Like, for me, it's that last episode, guys. I have yelled at my computer saying, no! Like, no way! Like, now I was in it. And I was like, no, they couldn't have done this. So for you?
And this is not diplomatic. The whole 90 days for me was that. Because you've seen the number of, I call it twists and turns, but the number of things you're going, no, that didn't really happen. And all the way down to the climax, right? I just could not believe it that these were the set of odds that these men faced, and the ridiculousness with which random breaks happened, and suddenly they would all latch onto that, run from that, and then this. I mean, what are the chances, I'm not giving anything away, that in this horrific event a camera survives? 100%. What are the chances? I mean, this is, if I had put that in a script, in a fictional script, there I said, chhod yaar,
Yeah.
find.
बहुत convenient है.
Convenient hai, kuch, you know,
बिल्कुल,
find
बिल्कुल.
some good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fact, absolutely stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
I could reel off 20 things, so I'm not going to.
Thank you. What blew your mind?
Like I said, the whole thing, but yes, the last episode.
है ना?
Through and through. All those moments.
नहीं, but ये हम उसके बाद ही drop कर रहे हैं. ये तो मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया ना कि
हाँ,
show
but
देख
हमको
के
तो नहीं
आओ.
पता ना क्या देख के बोल रहा है.
Correct. Hedge around it like you're doing. Like you're doing.
I'm going to tread carefully.
Why watch the film? Listen to Sahil.
Everything that you see on our faces in the last episode, those reactions, those surprises, those shocks that we go through are absolutely real. Because even for us as actors, we were like, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? How is it possible? How in the world can this happen? But it happened. And we were like, I remember Vidyuth and me, we would look at each other and we'd be like,
Like, I can't
Really?
believe it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
and then we would be like, chalo, let's shoot. And we would be throughout, from that point onwards till the first take, we would be like, okay.
Yeah,
Hua to
because
hua.
fact is stranger than fiction.
It is.
Yeah. If this was a fiction show, trust me, you guys would have gotten him. That would have been the perfect ending. Like, itni mehnat kiya. We love these boys. They're doing so well. They've itni mehnat
See,
kiya
that's
6 episodes.
that's the beautiful part about this.
Because I was very much aware of the incident that happened. I was 15, 16 when this happened. And not the intricate details, of course, but over a period of time, gradually I sort of went back to it, kept studying about it, reading about it. So I was, I knew about it really well, sort of. I was at that place with the incident. What amazed me was that these guys investigated this horrendous crime without any technological help.
So true.
No digital footprints, nothing, absolutely nothing. It was almost labor intensive.
Yes.
Yes. Running around, missing out, then running around somewhere else. No phones, no GPS, no CCTV, and just basing all their investigation on hunches, instincts. What amazing people they must have been there. Amazing.
Yeah.
Intelligence. So I was really, really taken aback by that, because we take our present time so for granted, right? Technology wise and all that.
So true.
They had nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like they were making trunk calls here.
Yeah. No, but that was actually for me the main thing, the kind of resilience. Like, we're talking about people who have to investigate the case. I mean, the rest of the whole country was shook by this. These are also human beings who are, on their knees. They were like helpless. They didn't know what to do, and they did it. That kind of resilience, that kind of strength to say, we will find it. We will do it. We don't have the means right now. We don't know. We'll use whatever we have and do it. That's incredible.
I want to end by saying that हमने ऐसी कहानियाँ देखी हैं, लेकिन वो कहानियाँ हमेशा, it's always of people not from our country. And which is why I really like this show, is because you've given me heroes from my own country. And I think that's why I want to recommend.
That thing.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
we would
true.
always be like FBI.
But we always watch detectives.
Cool, yeah,
we watch Sherlock Holmes and we watch all of these other guys with so much awe and fascination. But the truth is, the hunt actually gives you a chance to meet your own heroes. So I would say this is a show you should be proud